Hello everyone, and welcome back to our course. In this lecture, we're going to learn a lot more about working with tags. When we create a beautiful soup object and store it as soup, this represents our whole document, our whole page. We treat it as a tag, and it supports most of the searching tree methods. A tag object corresponds to an HTML tag or an XML tag. All right, so for example, I could make a new soup object that is a tag. So let me show you. I'll make a new code cell here, and I'll make my soup2. All right, and I'm going to use beautiful soup to instantiate a new soup object. But this time, I'm going to, instead of using a web page, I'm just going to use a tag. For example, I could use a bold tag and give it a class of my bold tag. And then I could give it the text bold and close that bold tag. Then I can grab that tag with soup2.b. Then I can run this code cell and print out the result of tag, and it's going to give me back my bold class. Now, what about if I print out soup2 itself? Well, if I run soup2, that gives me HTML body, the tag, and then body HTML. So by default, a soup will always have HTML and body included. We can also get a tag. For example, I can print out that exact tag. Okay, I already did that here. And I can get different attributes of that tag. For example, I can get tag.name. B, that's the name of the tag. And I can get all the attributes at once because a tag object has many attributes that are treated like a dictionary. For example, I can print out tag.attrs, this is short for attributes, and it's going to return here all of the attributes of the tag. In this case, we only have one attribute, the class, and the class is my bold tag. We can do this for any tags we have. For example, previously, let's grab a tag, and we can see all of its attributes. Let's do soup.a. That will return for us the first anchor tag in our website. So let's print out soup.a.attributes. Then look at that. Now we get a dictionary again. So we get key value pairs. And this time we have 3 because this anchor tag has 3 different attributes. It has a hyperlink reference, a class, and an ID. The keys are href, class, and ID. The values are the URL, course, and hello coding. Awesome. Okay. We can also get certain properties. We've seen that before, or certain attributes. For example, I could print out soup.a at ID, and that will give for me the ID, hello coding. This is just like accessing something from a dictionary. You just grab the element at that key, and it will return for you the value. You can also change a tag's attributes. You can add or remove or modify them. So let's create a new tag for this example. So I'm going to create here soup3, and I'm going to create a new beautiful soup. And let's create some tag. So I am going to create, for example, let's do a tag we haven't seen before, like a heading 2. All right, I'll make a heading 2. I'll give it the class of my heading 2. I'll give it an ID of my heading 2. So maybe the class should be something like heading class. Then the ID will be my heading 2. And let's close that heading 2. The text of this heading 2 can be my heading. All right. Then I can use 3 quotes to make this a multi-line string. And I'm using here this example of just a heading 2, but you could do this on any tag, and you could do it from an actual web page instead of just as a tag that you created. So what we can do is we can actually change a tag's attributes. For example, let's grab this tag first of all. So I'm going to grab it and then print it out. So I'm going to create tag again. This time it will be soup3.h2. And I'll print out that tag and we'll get that h2. Now let's look at how we can change an attribute of that tag. So what it can do is take the tag at a certain value, like at the ID. And I can change it to be new ID. Then if I print out the tag at that ID, we'll have a completely different value. So let me print out the tag's ID. And look at that, it's now new ID. So the ID has changed. You can also add new attributes. So for that, let's say we didn't have a class. Let's just remove that class here and rerun this code cell. What if we wanted to add a class if our tag did not have one? Well, what we can do is we can take the tag and at its class key, we can assign it a new class, such as my new class. Note that even though the class no longer exists in the dictionary, we can still run this cell and we can still add a completely new class like that, or add a new attribute like that, even if it doesn't already exist. That will just instantly create a new attribute in the tag. So now if we print out tag, we're going to see, look at that, we have a class that was just added to the tag. If we print out tag before it was added, then we'll see that it won't have the class right there. But then as soon as we run this code cell that adds the class, then we will see that class added. And that is how you can add new attributes to your HTML. As well, you can delete attributes. For example, what if I wanted to delete the ID? Well, I can call delete the del keyword, and I can delete from my dictionary of tag, I can delete the key value pair that has the key ID. So I'm going to run this code cell, and if I print out tag this time, look at that, the ID is now gone. And that is how you can work with tags. In this lecture, you learned how you can grab tag attributes and how you can manipulate tags. Coming up, we're going to do a deeper dive into tags, and we're going to look more at attributes and how we can work with attributes. So join me in the next lecture where we will continue our project.